Pokemon, Kaiju, Dragon Ball, and more. It's Steven's Toy Reviews. Hey there, collectors. Happy Halloween to you. Today we're going to be taking a look at yet another Halloween figure. And it's not going to be from NECA, it's going to be from Mezco. It's going to be the 112 Collective Michael Myers 1978. That's right. Mezco was able to get the licensing rights to the original Halloween movie and made a Michael Myers based on his appearance in that movie. That being said, though, the original MSRP is about $80. And, is that a tough pill to swallow? Yeah, well, you know what? Let's go ahead and take a look to see whether or not Michael here is worth adding into your collection. So in terms of looks, for those of you who aren't familiar with the 112 Collective, this is going to be the first one that I'm featuring here on my channel. What Mezco is basically looking to do here is create one general action figure body and then stitching clothing for it. So this way they can reuse the body as often as possible, change up the hands a little bit, and then just basically put the tooling into the different clothes that the figures are going to wear. You can't really see underneath them, so if the body's going to be the same as, well, all of them, you're really not going to be able to tell the difference. This is similar to what NECA does for their retro cloth figures and then the Mego figures and all that fun stuff. But for here from Michael Myers, I do have to say overall Mezco did a rather good job. I'm not going to say great, I'm not going to say amazing, because there are definitely some faults, specifically at the $80 price point. And what are we talking about here? Well, if you're Halloween fan, first and foremost, what you're going to notice is going to be the mask. Yes, they did a great job, and there are actual eyes in there that look fine. Unlike NECA's attempts, they really need to fix eye paint in general. Anyway, for the Mezco figure here, the mask is going to be one point of contention. Some folks are really okay with it and they think it looks great. However, if you actually really compare it to what we saw on screen, and I think that's totally legitimate here for this $80 figure, you'll notice that, well, in the movie, the mask wasn't exactly skin tight, form fitting, perfect to Michael Myers. As a matter of fact, it is not. It's rather loose. It kind of waves around. But here, they actually sort of made it anatomically correct, if that makes sense. Whereas here, it's not necessarily a mask. It's actually Michael Myers' head, which I don't necessarily think worked too well. It looks off. It doesn't look perfect. Oh, and by the way, they all come out of the box looking like this. Let's go ahead and fix that. Yeah, that's better. It's more accurate. Throughout the rest of the figure, though, we do have the mechanic's jumpsuit, and it's not a straightforward blue here. They actually added a couple of details here and there to make it look dirty. For this specific release, they did what is known in pop culture, the Michael having the blue jumpsuit, even though in the original movie, he did have that sort of darkish green that can be confused with blue, and then the way that John Carpenter shot everything. Yeah, so they went with screen accurate, not necessarily prop accurate, if that makes sense. The finer details on Michael do look nice as well. We have the hands, which have some dirt on them, which is cool because he's maybe digging around after digging up the gravestone, or maybe he's killed a couple of people. And then, of course, he is going to have those army boots. Well, not necessarily army boots, but you know what I'm talking about. And those are detailed all the way up to where they should be. So, in terms of looks, Mezco really did put a lot of finer details into this guy, but unfortunately, not quite perfect there, specifically to the main focal point of the figure. All right, time to talk about articulation here for Michael. And, well, he's going to be missing a couple of joints here and there. And there are some things to really keep in mind, okay? Okay, so what do we have? Well, first and foremost, the head plugs in on a ball joint, so this way he can look in all sorts of different directions, twist and turn from side to side. And as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and show this right now. That's a long joint. So that's how that looks. Okay. So we just got to go ahead and plug this back in. There we go. So for the shoulders, we are going to have swivels and hinges, so this way he can raise and lower his arms. Do be mindful that you're not going to rip the clothing, because that is definitely something that could happen. We are going to have swivels at the elbow, so this way he can spin his arms around like so. And you're not really going to need a bicep swivel if they do that, because you really couldn't tell the difference if he's moving his bicep or not. And then we are going to have elbow hinges. On mine, relatively tight, and I was afraid I was going to snap it on first movement, but after moving it around a little bit, it loosened up. We do have the wrist joints, which are going to be similar for those of you who know what SH Figuarts can do. We have that here. We have a swivel where it plugs into the forearm. We do have a hinge, and then the hands actually plug in on a peg, so it has a swivel there. Now, taking a look at the main body, it seems like he has a little bit of an ab crunch here, so he can twist and turn from side to side, but realistically speaking, that's about it. Thankfully, the jumpsuit here up top is a little loose, so this way you have a little bit of freedom to spin around. For the hips, it seems like we're just going to have some ball joints, so this way we can move him forward and back about that far safely before the clothing might rip, and about that far out, and I'm already a little hesitant to go even that far. You can see the seams starting to give way there. They do also have a little bit of a swivel here, which is pretty good. Seems like we're going to have at least a double knee hinge here. I'm not able to take a look at it, but it still looks pretty good. So we have some nice range of movement there. That's basically all we're going to need. And then we are going to actually have boot swivels, so this way we can spin the boots around. For the ankles, it seems like it's just going to be a ball joint, so this way we can move the feet around, and there is no toe hinge. So yeah, it seems like this guy's a little limited on articulation, which isn't really all that fun, and the fact that it seems like there's only a single elbow hinge, come on, guys. You can do a little bit better than that. But if you're looking to get Michael in a spooky pose, then congrats. You should be able to at least do that. Time to take a look at accessories, and what do we have here? Well, Michael is going to come with a few extra hand parts. We'll take a look at those in a moment. He's going to come with a normal and bloody knife. He's going to come with the tombstone for Judith Myers. Dun, dun, dun. He's going to come with the ghost accessory. Boo-ah. And he's going to come with a light up pumpkin. All 112 collective figures also come with a respective support base and arm, and a little baggie to hold all of the accessories. So let's go ahead and take a look at those extra hands that Michael comes with. For the right hand, he is going to come with one hand, so this way he can hold the knife facing forward, and he's also going to come with one set of sort of clenched up splayed hands. And then for the left, he's going to come with a hand, so this way he can hold the knife backwards like this. Then he's going to come with another set of super wide fingered splayed hands, so this way he can hold things like the pumpkin if you want. So pretty straightforward there. Now we're going to go ahead and take a quick look at those knives so you can see what the clean one looks like and what the bloody one looks like. The bloody one looks just fine, so if you're a fan of bloodied up weapons, congratulations, this one's for you. Since we already saw the pumpkin, let's take a closer look at that one, and it's actually pretty neat. It does have the accurate sculpt to what we see in the beginning of the movie, even the finer details to make it look like Michael is actually in the pumpkin. Ooh, spooky. The cool feature of this one is you can pop the lid off of the pumpkin. It's the lid, and there's a little switch in there. You flick the switch, and the pumpkin lights up, and the lighting effect is awesome. It looks great when the lights are turned on and even better when the lights are turned off. Do take note the batteries are not inserted when you take this out of the packaging, so keep that in mind. Michael does also come with the Judith Myers tombstone, or gravestone, whatever you want to call it, and the detailing on it is pretty dang slick. There are some chips here and there to make it look like it's been through the ringer. Maybe Michael dropped it, and what's even better is that it actually sort of feels like it's made of polystone in some way. I have a couple of polystone resin statues, fixed figures, whatever you would prefer, and this does feel very similar. And the detailing and the etching, it all looks just fine. Do take note, though, I have seen some with some sloppy paint apps on the back, so if that's your thing, yeah. Oh yeah, it also has a little bit of trouble standing upright for me sometimes, so just something to keep in mind. Last but most certainly not least, for the actual accessories, we're going to get the bed sheet that turns Michael into the ghosty. Ooh, ah. It does have the glasses attached, and the way that this works is you just got to pop Michael's default head off, and then just use the two plastic bits here to grip it and pop it on. There we go. Pretty cool. And then, like I did make mention, all 112 collective figures do come with a support base and support arm. On this one, we are going to have a Halloween decals, so that's cool. Looks like Halloween. Then we do have the support arm, and there is normally one peg that fits into the base. Unfortunately for this one, it has been misplaced, so yeah, it's cool. It just plugs into the foot of the character. So all in all, for accessories, I think Michael is done relatively well, and I honestly don't know what else could be added in except for left and right hand parts to hold the knives forward and backwards. Now we're going to go ahead and finish off the review with a size comparison, so this way you can see exactly how big Michael Myers is. For those of you who are NECA horror collectors, be prepared here because Michael is actually relatively short, and he's going to fit in more so with your import figures than your NECA figures, so that is just something to really keep in mind. So by now, skip or wait for a deal. Michael is pretty dang cool, but Unfortunately, this is not going to be worth $80. If this were closer to 60, pushing it at 65, yeah, I would say this is really rad, but we do have a couple of issues here and there in terms of just how the figure looks. The joints are a little questionable to me. I feel like I'm going to snap them when I'm moving mine around, and yeah, I don't know. $80 is just a really hard sell. Of course, if you're a diehard Halloween or Michael Myers fan, this is going to be a no-brainer. But you know what? Maybe I'll hold out for another company. Who knows? But yeah, it's serviceable. Well, collectors, that brings us to the end of the video today, and I just wanted to take a second to thank you so much for watching. Now, you've heard a lot from me. I'd like to hear a little bit from you. Drop in the comments down below whether or not you liked it, you hated it, or maybe you were somewhere in between. I also want to take an extra second here for a nice, humongous thank you to all the patrons for SDR over the last month who have really helped the channel grow into what it can be today. So to all of you, 2 big thumbs up. Thank you very much. And now the end card should be popping up, which will give you a few clickable links, like maybe to subscribe or head on over to my Patreon, or some short URLs like to my social media or to my Teespring store. There's also a video I hand selected for you, so if you want to watch another STR video, I hand selected some good content for you to watch, so definitely check out that video. Thank you again so much for watching, and I'll catch ya in the next video.